So how was it at Solos? Because you said the first academy you trained in was at Solo Hiberos, of probably like the
Yeah,
mecca of like jiu-jitsu is like San Diego, so Southern California. But I'm guessing you
right.
trained in the gi and stuff like so. How was it? Like what didn't like click exactly?
Ye- that's a great question. I've thought about that before. You know, honestly, I mean, not speaking poorly on the academy at all. I mean, I took two classes. You know, in two classes, you're not going to get a feel for any school. But the instruction was great. I mean, my first class, I remember we were doing a rolling back take off the half guard.
Mhm.
So I mean, as a white belt, learning that for the first time, like, whoa, this is really cool. Like, this is awesome. So there was nothing negative about it, other than the fact that when we were doing like warm ups, we were working on breaking grips. You know, like somebody grabs, and you have your style of breaking the grip. And for some reason, I didn't like that. I didn't feel I didn't think that it was the most practical. I was thinking to myself, like if I was gonna use this in self defense, and again, like if you know judo, and if someone knows judo and they grab you, you're done. That person's gonna flip you over. And of course, Salo is really big into judo. They do a lot of judo training over there. But I don't know. I just something about it just didn't call to me. And I'm gonna be honest. One of the reasons why I like Nogi is I like the Rashguard and Spats. I feel like I'm like a damn superhero when I put it on. It's like tight to your skin, and like you just feel good. I don't know. Maybe I'm a dork just because of that. But it was a combination of like just the grips and just like the gi just wasn't the pajama wasn't the thing. The
Like the
spandex called to
spats
me.
and the shorts and
That's
the rash guard.
what it
Plus,
was.
it's I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's no disrespect to anyone that trains in the gi. I still train in the gi. Like it's all good, right? But
Of
it's
course
just
not.
I don't know. For me, I was like, it's so much easier to just wear these rash guards and shorts, and it makes the laundry so much easier. You know what I mean? But uh, going on to my
Yes.
story, like when I first got introduced to leg locks, I mean, I didn't know that you couldn't do them. And I went to like it goes back. I kind of went on a tangent, but it goes back to my story when I went to academy in Ontario. We were rolling, and obviously, so the guy stands up. I go for Ashi or single leg X. I go through the whole transition,
Hmm.
and the instructor's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you doing?" And I'm just like, You can't do that. Like when you do that, when you reap, that could be very dangerous." And I'm in my head, I was like, "But we do that all the time." Right? I was like,
And no one gets hurt. So funny story. I was rolling with a blue belt at Solos. Must have been like either my first or second class, and Salo was sitting. They have like two separate floors, like two different mats, and we're on the main mat, and he's sitting. And he's sitting on a white chair, and he's drinking an espresso, and he's just watching us. You know, I just thought like that scene was pretty funny. And I had grabbed the dude's leg, and just kind of like, I didn't know too many leg locks at that moment, but instinctively I brought my foot over, so I was reaping their leg. And then everybody, all the instructors, and he even jumped off the chair, and he's like, "Stop!" I'm like, "Whoa, like, what's going on?" And he's like, "You can't do that." So I had no idea what I did, and I'm like, what do you mean?" He's like, "You can't bring your leg over. That's dangerous, and you're gonna get disqualified." And I think that's what it was. That's what really kind of like pushed me away from it, because I was watching Leglock videos, and I'm like, first off, I'm like, this is not going to really hurt the person, and two, why can I just do something? It's a submission. It's a legitimate move to attack the human body. Why is it gonna why can't I do it? And that's my personal thing with the IBJJF. Now, I have nothing against the gi. I think the gi is fantastic, and I have trained the gi since then. I think it's definitely made me better at controlling and pausing, and it does it give you a different insight to jujitsu. But the only thing is, it's that rule set that I think a lot of people have kind of just become disenfranchised
Yeah, I
with
think
the
it's the
whole no
rule
reaping
set
rule.
because yeah, with like no repeating and everything like that, like they really want to stick to it. And I guess if that's the competition that you're always training in, and that's what you're trying to get yourself acclimated to, then it actually starts becoming, it starts becoming habitual, right? Like then it becomes reaping's bad because you're always constantly training for that IBJJF rule set. But if you look at it on the other side of the coin, I mean, leg locks, foot locks, anything, involving the legs are those are legitimate attacks. Those have to be addressed. Like it has to absolutely be addressed. Like I'm sure you would agree, right?
Of course, definitely, but I think that that's something that the IBJJF is very much immovable. I don't think that they'll ever allow heel hooks and reaping. I think that that's always going to be something that like in their mind sets them apart. But I really think that's going to be one of the downfalls of the IBJJF, aside from then not paying their um, athletes and not really taking care of people. I think over time the IBJJF, although it's very prestigious, don't get me wrong. Like if you get a gold, if you get get a gold at Mundial, it's like that's a big deal. But as far as actually making a living, because I think a lot of people nowadays are looking to make a living off jujitsu. Submission grappling is the way to go. It's much more conducive to submissions, obviously, and you get paid more. There's more shows, and I think in a couple of years, I'm saying like within the next 3 to 4 years, I think jujitsu is going to be on TV, and I think that there's a lot of promotions out there that are doing it right. I think that what we're witnessing right now is kind of like the beginnings of like the NFL when football kind of first started. It was very very loose, very chaotic, and little by little they began to come together and make a legitimate organization. And I hope that jujitsu continues to grow. I'm a big believer that the tide rises all ships, um, and to pay their athletes better. I think that's coming around. So I don't know. Maybe the IBJJF not having that reaping rule is going to benefit us in the long run.
Yeah, true. Because then everything in a spectrum will begin to grow. Like I think Gordon Ryan like put something on his page, like a post regarding like athletes getting paid, right, and more incentive for competing. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that are looking to make this pretty much their livelihood, right? I mean, they already dedicate like their whole life into training, dedicate their whole life into bettering themselves in the sport. I'm pretty sure what they want is to be able to, eat off pretty much like this art, right? And feed their
Of
family.
course.